Welcome to the G5 Hive and our next installment of our Worker Bee series, where we deep dive to the G5 college football landscape with the folks that know the teams the best. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Colorado State Rams, who finished 5-7 last season. They wrapped up their 2024 spring practice with their spring game on April 20th. We have a special guest joining us today. He is a reporter who covers the Colorado State athletics for the Coloradoan. He is a Heisman voter. He is Kevin Lytle. Kevin can be found at Kevin_Lytle on X. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thanks for having me. Super excited to talk, and it's starting to feel like we're getting close to the season, isn't it?
Well, let's move over to the defensive side of the ball and talk about the guys up front on that defensive line. They lost their leader in sacks from a year ago, and Mohamed Kamara to the NFL, Tony Pierce Jr. and Matt Thomas to graduation. They also lost Grady Kelly to Florida State. Despite those losses, they have a pretty good core of guys coming back. How did that unit look in the spring?
Yeah, they have a lot of guys, that's for sure. And they've added several transfers, one from Washington State, one from Utah State. I think the biggest thing is just going to be sack production. I think they'll be, okay in the middle as far as, not getting gouged in the running game. But are they going to be able to, really create problems for quarterbacks? So yeah, Newer Gatkuth is a guy that flashed last year as a younger player. They need him to take a step forward. Mukinde Wakalanji has played a decent bit, but never in a big role like he'll have now. And then it's another one where they have some young guys like a DeAndre Gill, maybe a Kendi McDowell that they're going to need to step up. So they have a lot of players with potential, but some question marks. And then, like I say, the good thing is in the middle, like Cam Baratow, he's been really solid inside for a long time. Tyler Quinn solid in there. James Mitchell start along Baratow. He's solid. So they have pieces. It's just how disruptive can they be?
So how do the Rams go about replacing Kamara's production?
Yeah, it probably goes without saying. He had 13 sacks last year. You're not going to have one guy come in and do that. Like, there just aren't many dudes in college football that can do that. So it's obviously going to be by committee. But like I say, you're going to need guys like Gatkuth and Wakalanji and maybe a DeAndre Gill to step up. And if everyone on that kind of defensive end side can add another 1 to 3 sacks to their game, in the aggregate, you can it's like the Moneyball thing. You recreate them in the aggregate because you're not going to be able to do just what he did.
The linebacking group brings back its second leading tackler from 2023 in Chase Wilson. He had 107 last year. However, they lost their third leading tackler, Justin Sanchez. He had 87 to graduation. How did the linebacking group look in the spring?
Yeah, Chase Wilson, he was a little in and out in the spring with an injury, but I think some of that was veteran maintenance. He's just a really solid guy that's worked up. He's kind of the, leader, one of the leaders of the defense. He's going to be a very steady type of guy. I'm really excited about Boom Jock. He's going to start alongside Wilson. He has supreme physical abilities. He's, 6'4", runs really, really well. He's your prototypical sideline to sideline ability. He's pretty new to the position. So, he, as a true freshman last year, is really a crash course. He played a decent amount as a freshman, but he looks like he has every chance to be really, really good. And he's certainly going to see the field and, a lot to have that opportunity.
Well, let's head over to the defensive backfield. They return a good amount of guys from 2023. This room is highlighted by the return of their leading tackler from 2023 and Jack Howell. How did that unit look in the spring?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The safeties are super set, basically. Jack Howell has been doing it for a long time, really solid. Henry Blackburn, likewise, been there for a long time, solid player. Even like an Aiden Hector at nickel, he was hurt last year, but he's back. So the safety position, looks really solid, whereas cornerback is probably a question mark because there's a lot of new guys in there.
Now, you talk about the defense lost a couple of good ones in TJ Crandall, who transferred to West Virginia, and then Chigozie Anusawa graduated and signed as a UDFA with the Washington Commanders. How do you feel, or who do you feel is going to step up in their roles in 2024?
Yeah, those are big questions, and we'll see. Isaiah Sissoma had a really good spring. He came over from Nevada. He's a maybe undersized but really aggressive. Elias Larry, He's going to have some chances. Dom Jones played a decent bit, had a few picks last year. He's a lanky receiver. They've added a couple transfers as well, so you have a lot of competition there. I think it's definitely some open competition for cornerback play.
Well, if you had to pick a defensive player to have a breakout type season in 2024, who would that be?
I think the two obvious picks are Newer Gatkuth and Boomjock. Gatkuth because, excuse me, Gatkuth because he's gonna get some of those opportunities that Mo Camara got last year of facing the worst D or O lineman and get a chance to get after the quarterback. But Boomjock I think is the one I'll have to go with just because, like I say, he's gonna have big opportunities. Seems to have made some really big strides. I'm just excited to see what he does. But those two guys are going to be really important for CSU's defense.
All right. If you are watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. And if you are listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you for your support. And until next time, we are the G5 Hive.